Hey everybody, Dr. Kaitlin here from Fit PT. I'm going to take you through a how-to exercise today. This one's going to be focused in on the core, and it's a really common one. We find this in Pilates and yoga and all sorts of fun things. It's called bird dog, or some people call it opposite arm and leg reach. Whatever makes the most sense to you in your world. We're gonna be on our hands and knees, lifting opposite arm and leg in different directions. Really focused in on the core today. So I'm gonna cue you through some breaths, through some how-to techniques to make sure that you're getting the most out of this exercise and everything is working the way that it should. All right, so go ahead and come to your mat space. We're gonna go hands and knees here, and I'm gonna ask you to really make sure that you're set up for success. So what I mean by that is I want you to kind of look down wherever your hips are in space. Your knees need to be right underneath them. A lot of people will have their knees back behind them. Do you see how that's not quite in alignment? So I'm gonna keep some space between my knees, about hip width apart, and then just align myself right underneath my knees. Same thing with the hands and shoulders. A lot of times people have their hands way out in front of them, and I'm gonna ask that you do a little laser pointer visualization here and make sure that your wrists are right underneath those shoulders, okay? Now from here, everything starts from the breath. I've got a nice neutral spine promoting my natural curve, somewhat of that halfway between point of cat and cow, if that helps you think about it. I'm gonna take a big breath in, expanding through my rib cage. And then on my exhale, I'm gonna pull my belly, I'm gonna pull my core up and in. Good. I'm going to do that one more time. Can you see that? Inhale. I'm expanding. I'm getting bigger. My belly is dropping down and my ribs are expanding outward. And then as I exhale, my belly hugs up and in. There's my core. All right. Core must stay lifted and engaged the entire time while you're moving. I'm going to put this into action for you. So take an inhale breath. Exhale, belly's up and in. I'm gonna start to let go of my right leg. Now, I'm gonna reach my leg out. I'm just gonna set my toes down because I don't really need to worry about the height here. Notice how my belly is still up and in. I didn't lose it. I didn't drop it down like this. I kept it pulled up. I'm also reaching through that right leg in a way where I feel my glute squeeze. Now, as I'm holding here, ideally, if I wasn't talking to you, I would also have time to reach my opposite arm out, my left arm. In this position as well, you want to really think about more of this lengthening of the arm and the leg as you reach rather than height. I don't like when I see a lot of people overarching and lifting. See how high I am with my arm and my leg? That's a big dominance of the back muscles working and very little of the front muscles working. So instead, I'm going to think about this tug of war, one straight line between my hands and my toes, and it's okay if my toes are towards the ground. No big deal. Belly's pulled up and in. Inhale, I'm going to come back. That was a really long one, folks. Just so you know, you don't have to hold that long. Exhale. Belly's up and in. I'm going to think about the leg first because that's the harder part, and then I'll reach the arm when I'm ready. Inhale back. Exhale. Engage that core. Belly's up and in. If it also helps you to think about pulling this imaginary diagonal between your hand and your knee that are on the ground. Like they're stuck in quicksand and you're trying to pull them out towards each other. Inhale back. Exhale up and in. Little diagonal pull, hand to knee to hand on the floor. Reach the opposite hand and foot away from each other. Find length. Hold for that full exhale at the top. Inhale, come back down. Now the other thing I did not mention is thinking about what your pelvis and your hips are doing. Okay? What we don't want to do is really rotate and lift open that whatever leg is lifted and lengthened in the air. And we also don't want to shift way over to one side. We're going to try and keep our hips stacked on top of our knee. Now, doing all of that together, that's a lot of detail, isn't it? Doing all of that together is going to make you feel your core more, okay? So you should feel more sensation of things going on as you're doing it correctly. Big breath in. Reset while hands and knees are down. Exhale, engage that core. Then lift and move. Last time here, big inhale. Exhale. Notice how I take a second to breathe and engage, and then I move my body, and I'm so much more stable. The other imagery that helps people oftentimes is thinking about they have their favorite beverage placed on top of their low back while they're doing this. Okay, so you don't want to spill it, whether it's that glass of red wine or a cup of coffee or a favorite tea, whatever it is for you. Imagine that cup sitting right on top of the small of your low back, and while you are moving in these opposite directions, you don't want to spill it. That also gives this anticipatory sort of engagement to recruit your core a little bit deeper and a little bit better than we typically would in our everyday busy lives. So I hope that helps. The How to Bird Dog from Fit PT here. I hope you join us as well in the future. Stay tuned.